Proper Punters, brought to you by CrossBet. Are you ready to level up your punting game?
Welcome back for another week of Proper Punters, and we have a very special guest, my man Tommy Forward. We are here with JC.
How are you, boys?
Good, boys.
Good to be here. Hopefully, moving forward, we can make a meal of this, and it's good that you put a spud between two of the smarter form judges in New South Wales. So
Wow, look at him sucking up.
Yeah, but you can make yourself look good here. So,
are you on the outer at the den or something? So what's happening?
Kings is right.
Kings
put me to
is
the
just
side.
there.
Get out of there because I went none from 2 last week. So just get out of there. So hopefully I can right my wrongs this week on.
So you're coming to us in good form. That's good.
100%.
Love that. Love. Bounce back. Maybe cardiac arrhythmia for Jason last week.
Tonsillitis.
Tell us a little bit about yourself for the BTFU listeners.
Yeah, well, I'm, I guess, a 50-50 form analyst. I do a little bit of...
Didn't know where you were going there. each their own, we don't judge.
100%. There could be anyone in the BTFU audience. I do a bit of greyhound work, do a bit of horse racing work. You might have seen me out there, might not have. But hopefully we can do well here and tip a few winners at Rosehill on Saturday.
You'll be good. How are you, Tommy?
Good, mate. Good week last week.
Yes, a striker getting the chocolates for us.
Yeah, I had to sweat it out for 20 minutes on Land Legend, but the protest held up and I was a happy man. So it was good to get the chocolates there. But yeah, striker, great way to finish the day. We spoke about it, but when Briasa made the field, I was a bit nervous. And when it stoked up at the 200, I was like, oh shit, here we go. But a striker just pulled out enough to win for us.
I think it was the big thing, and I've got an issue with Zach Lloyd on wide gates. He seems to just make the wrong decision, whether he goes back, he goes forward. I think he seems to just pull, and I love him as a jockey, and I think he's going to be really, really good, but he's still got an issue with wide gates. He seems to not make the right call, and I think our big thing with the striker was inside gate, we could sit closer, get a far more economical run, and I think that was the difference.
For sure.
I think both of the horses are horses to follow moving forward, though.
Yeah.
Definitely. You have an opinion, JC? Go.
Not necessarily, to be honest. I thought the protest was the right decision, obviously, with investments on Land Legend. But Zardozi did have her chance to obviously win the race, and I think she actually hit the front at one stage there, so it was a bit of a grinding effort from Land Legend, and hopefully you can go forward into a Caulfield Cup and probably be hard enough to beat off that run.
Yeah, definitely. All right, well, we will go through, I think, 5 of the key races in Sydney, but let's talk about 2 of the big ones in Melbourne to start with. We'll go to the Might and Power, and fuck, he was a good horse.
Yeah.
Mr. Brightside, the champ, is $1.70 best at the moment, and pretty much $1.65 across the board.
Yeah.
What are we thinking, boys?
Yeah, I don't want to take on him personally. I know Tommy has other thoughts. I don't think he's a bet at the price, obviously. You might get better. He has drifted out from $1.50 initially, so he could potentially start $1.80 or whatnot, but I won't be having too much investment in this race. I'll just sit back and enjoy it.
Yeah. I'm the same as Jason. I thought $1.60 was a bit short. Didn't want to suggest a lay or a bet. The one negative I had was gate 1, Caulfield Railing True. They want to sort of come down 4, 5, 6 off the fence, and that could suit it up for a horse sitting off midfield and coming with that sweeping run. I thought a Tissue sets up well. James jumps on this preparation, and I just like the profile of this horse on the 7-day backup. The last time we saw it on the 7-day backup, it won the Champion Stakes.
With him on board?
With J-Mac on board.
He seems to have a really good affinity with this horse, doesn't he? He seems to get on right day.
The McKinnon now have called the Champion Stakes, so I like that setup. Could be on the wetter side, hopefully, which would suit this horse, but I think dry will be fine. I thought the $5 was too much of a discrepancy with Brightside, and I'd be happy to play that on a each way quote. I think Nash might have been on on that day. I think James was on Zoogotcha. You
see that jumping castle or that little thing they had during the Autumn Carnival, like inside the racetrack, and they like pushed you up and you got to watch it from there?
Oh, in the lift, they call it the
Yeah.
My mate was the guy running it.
Oh, wow. Yeah. So I was on there, and I had a huge bet on a Tissue. Thought she was an absolute good thing.
Yeah.
You couldn't see shit, and it was one of the sickest beats ever. You have to hear Darren wait 2 minutes over the PA and say, and Zoogotcha's just got to head down the line. So,
stiff.
Did you jump off?
I was contemplating.
It's probably a dangerous thing to be there watching a race.
I tried, but it was around me.
Oh, God. We shouldn't joke about those sort of things, man. No. I think all punters know the feeling.
Yeah, for sure.
One way or another. All right, yeah, I've got absolutely no opinion on the race. I'm a huge Tissue fan when she's on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Let's move on to the Guineas.
Yep.
Biggest race of the day down there. Broadsiding is now $1.60 as well. $1.55 pretty much across the board. I want to go ask you these first. So you go back, he was sensationally backed. We were both pretty keen on him when we did the preview that day.
Mm-hmm.
That was at around, I think, the 320 mark when we did the show. He starts 220. How do you reprice him?
I don't know. It was a tote board blowout. It was just a crush.
It just looked like
even money
Z-Bet.
just across the entire tote.
Yeah, it looked like Z-Bet just stepped in and said...
Z-Bet definitely did step in. It was insane. But I don't know how you assess him off that. Obviously, he just got there on the line. It was a perfect ride, really. Like, realistically, if J-Mac didn't ride him that well, he might have only finished fourth, really, outside the placings. But he obviously is a horse that knows when to find the line. He's a line chaser, as I heard you guys mention last week or the week prior. But, yeah, he's going to be hard to beat, obviously, in the Caulfield Guineas. And I guess the question for me is he as good as Animo and can he win a Cox Plate?
Yeah, I think it's a tricky one because he sat back in that not a good position. He's three back the fence. And then the gap opens up, like part of the Red Sea.
Open, yeah.
Just it's J-Mac blows the whistle. Yeah, we're coming through, and then he gets there. But does that just happen because he's such a good horse? Like, does it? And he's able to accelerate through those gaps?
You'd have to ask him.
Yeah, I would. I really like him.
Yeah.
I think if I reprice him, I reprice him evens. Like, I just think he makes his own luck.
Yeah.
And he's one of those horses that he has won by distance, and a lot of people put a line through that Queensland form, but he's fucking impressive.
Yeah, no, I can't wait.
And I think a lot of the other horses aren't as good as years gone by as well. Like, I definitely don't think this is a top class field.
Not at all. I think he's got a strangle on this field. I think the best of the Melbourne horses, though, in like a broadsiding out market or a favourite out market, is Angel Capital. But yeah, suggesting it a bet against broadsiding, I couldn't recommend. I think the horse is just too talented. Time and time again, the past few years, we see these Golden Rose horses go down and just be too strong. And I think it's another year where it'll be the same. Yeah,
I agree. All right, let's come back up to Sydney and we'll kick off where we started off last week with Swift Falcon, $2.60 favourite in the Gloaming Stakes. What's the speed look like?
I've only got an average tempo here. I've got Lugano and Crystal Clear wanting to roll up. They're both 30s and 50s. I don't know how much speed they'll be injecting into the race. I think the favourite Swift Falcon will be taking a rearward position, hoping that the speed comes on just like it did last week, where it sat back, used its strong turn of foot to finish over the top of them. And then I think a horse as well, the second favourite, Henleen, will also be ridden off midfield. They were extremely cold on it at the Valley, sat second last, hit the line well. I think up in distance, they'll just be looking to settle again, get into its rhythm and hopefully come home with a strong turn of foot. But yeah, it's a different sort of race shape for Swift Falcon this week. So I was interested to hear your thoughts, Mason, what you thought about its chances.
His win was impressive. Like, fuck, it was dynamic. Put him away in 2 strides. Hawks on the back up. It's not something we see very often. Up in trip. He still races. He's very brilliant. Like, he does relax. But just, I don't know. The lack of pace has obviously got to be scary. Yeah, it's a bit of a tricky one for me. I think when you back these sort of horses, like for me, betting on a Saturday in town in hard races, I want the right horse with the right position and the right race shape. There's definitely question marks about the race shape. I think there's some horses that still have some ability, like Tenbury Wells. Yes, it won on a Kembla wet track, but it's obviously got ability. El Costello, we've been on it its last 2 starts. It's got form, the broadsiding. It's tough. It's probably going to take, you got the horse with the Melbourne form, and even Duvana, look, it had some really good early form, and then it absolutely dismantled a very shit field on a heavy track. So, do I want to dive in the 270? Probably not, but fuck, if he gets back at the $4 again, maybe.
Yeah.
I'm certainly not betting early into this market, but the horses I've just mentioned will look the chances, and they're the horses in the market. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, well, it's good to see give yourself a little tug about El Castillo. backing him both those starts, and he's won. And I'm jumping on now, so obviously we know what's going to happen then. But I just
picked up an extra 60 kilos.
I just think the map and barrier are both against Swift Falcon and Henline, so I've just gone pretty much for the map horse. Obviously, as you mentioned, both those wins were in inferior company, but I think he's a horse that just does what he has to do. He's a little tough bugger, should box seat, and he's obviously each way odds. I can see him probably being supported in betting, where Swift Falcon, especially if the first couple of races it's up and in, he might get out to that $3.50 mark and might be a bet. But I just think last week you're getting a better price. Swift Falcon is probably a lot better suited. Obviously, mile at Randwick, probably the fairest start in racing. Now you're 1800 Rosehill, tight track. I just don't think it's got to suit him personally, and I can't dive into that price.
Yeah, I'm in agreement. If I was one of the bookies, I'd be winding out Swift Falcon's price. There's no early move for it. Open 260 till still 260. For all the points, it's just a vastly different setup to what it had last week, where it was able to get the chocolates. It was visually impressive, and it's priced off that visually impressive win. But I think for all the points you boys have mentioned, there's just a lot of negatives going in this week. And so the 260, I don't be surprised if we see 350.
Well, we saw him late. Like, he was rough. Like, he blew. He was pretty sick late. Just worried if he'd lost a leg, but he certainly hadn't.
Yeah, just against Swift Falcon. Concede all the points for El Costello, map horse. All it can do is win. I know the margins haven't been great, but if it gets a nice map again, I expect to see it in the finish.
It's good to see a little double matchup to start.
Yeah, copied his own work.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on. Race 5, we've got the Roman Consul, and we currently have kind of roughly equal favourites in Spirit of Wealth and Craig Coleman.
Yeah. Don't see too fast of a tempo in this. Spirit of Wealth has led. Been really dominant from the front. I think they'll want to take up a similar position again. And I think Ikasara as well will want to push forward. They look the two leaders. They could go at an average to above average tempo, but I don't see them going helter-skelter. And then horses like Gatsby's, Coleman, Switzerland, they'll all just find midfield positions, use their turn of foot, which they've possessed in the past. Don't see too strong a tempo. What were your boys' thoughts?
We'll go to you first, Jaycin.
Yeah, well, I don't really know what to do with Switzerland. I'll probably leave that one to Mace about his recent trial in between runs. Spirit of Wealth, for me, obviously, she's been very impressive in both her starts, winning with ease. She's got a lot of ability, but I think this is a big ask, and you're forced to take, once again, a very short price for a horse that's untested at group level. So I'm going with Coleman here. I think you're taking a similar price for a horse that has had both his runs back this preparation in Group 1 sprints down in Melbourne. He's only been beaten less than 3 lengths in both those starts, and he has really good experience here at Rosehill. He's obviously run third in that Pago and second in the Golden Slipper, so you can't really ask for better form lines than that. So he handles the track. He's going to sit just off what I think will be at least a moderate tempo, and hopefully he can close over the top of him.
Yeah, so who do you have leading?
Leading.
Who?
I
What's your
think
first
Spirit
thought?
of Wealth will obviously push forward, but I agree with Tommy. I think Ikasara, obviously Waterhouse spot, wide barrier. Potentially, if she does want to cross, Spirit of Wealth could get caught behind her, and that could cause a bit of a problem for Spirit of Wealth, I would say. That would probably be best for Coleman, I reckon, if Ikasara can cross Spirit of Wealth.
Yeah. Actually, we haven't really touched on it. How do we think the track's going to play on the day?
Well, rails out 3 metres. I'll sort of take over here.
No, you go, JC, mate.
I used my Willy Weather app this morning. It gives me all the wind directions and the forecasted rain and whatnot. And there are possible showers, but I don't think there's enough millimetres forecast to actually get this track into a soft range. I'm expecting it to be not leaderish, but up and in. Well, just typical Rosehill spring deck, in my opinion. I think you want to be forward of midfield and maybe potentially rails in run.
Yeah, okay.
Definitely.
Do you agree?
Yeah, I agree there.
Excellent. What's your thoughts on the race?
I didn't mind a roughie here. Has similar form to Coleman, but I actually didn't mind High Octane, third up for the Snowdens. If you look at this horse's last start, it had an SP of $7.50 against Growing Empire. Growing Empire then went into the Manikato and ran exceptionally well in an Everest now. So I've got form ties through similar horses that Coleman has. And then I just like the mid-prep trial that the Snowdens sent it to Rosehill, won a trial over Compelling Truth by 2.5 lengths.
And IME, like these are two very fast horses.
Really like the trial. Gate 1, if we said it's going to be fence on or sort of up and in, I think Schiller will have this horse in a position, maybe 3 back the fence, looking for the gaps. But I think at $23, something each way is a terrific play.
He definitely trialled well enough, and I think I wonder if they're going to try and ride him like that and really kind of give him a bit of a rev up.
For sure.
I think he'll be really positive from the gate.
The firm ground too, I think, is a big key for this horse. Has faced 2 softer tracks, and I think this will be its firmest track, this preparation, which I think we'll be able to see the best of it. Your thoughts, Mace?
My top pick at this point could change, but is currently Switzerland. Just from, especially what you guys have said with the pace, there could easily be some good pace. It's the horse that's probably going to sit just in behind them and get that beautiful suck run. Excusing the first up run, trial between runs was extremely well. Really, the way he works through the line is really impressive. And against older horses too, in remark. And there's a horse in that trial called Seton Hall for all you trial pervs. That's some genuine porn.
Don't be giving that out, mate.
But yeah, he's a horse that had a huge rap on. I'm just happy to put the line through that last run. He's got the stallion chain, a little bit of a concern. Might be starting to think about other things, but us young males do that. Yeah, exactly. I've got him on top. I think we might see the coming of Nash step up as well. Nash can really turn it on in these days, especially when J-Mac's not around. And the other horse is, I really like Spirit of Wealth. I think she's a really top-class animal. I know she hasn't got the form of these. She's only had the 2 runs, but the way she's done it has been impressive. And I think Michael Friedman's a good trainer. I think he's the best of the Friedmans by a long way. No offence to you other two, but he's got panels on you. And they're my 2. But no super confidence. Just small place for me.
Yeah, love it.
We move on to race 6. This will load.
The Tap Craig. I got a fast tempo in this race. A Node coming out of the Golden Rose. The horse showed a lot of speed, sat outside the lead. I think coming back in grade, they'll want to use this horse's asset, and I think that's its fast, early tempo and just controlling the race. You've got the horse Main from the Annabelle Neesham stable. It'll use its inside draw, I think, to press up. But I think if Tim wants to really press the button on a Node and say, I'm just going to control this race, I think Main, stepping up in class, won't want to burn all of its fuel early. So I think he'll let a Node control. And then I've got horses such as Just Party, settling midfield, and then Snack Bar, Zach Lloyd, Wide Gate. I'll get to you on that one, Mace, but I think it'll go back. So yeah, fast tempo, the favourite a Node up in front. It was a bit of an interesting one. I don't know what you boys thought, but I was keen to take on a Node. I just thought the price was a bit skinny, and I think there's some up-and-comers in this race that haven't had the most suitable race shapes, and I think with a fast tempo they can show their best, and I think that's number 12, More Territories.
Yeah.
Comes out of the Autumn Glow race, which has just been super strong form. We've seen that form stack up through Dawn Service and various other horses. I like the blinkers on. I like the third up. I like the inside draw to settle a bit closer. I think this profile just screams intent for Saturday, and the $6.50, I'll be taking that all day. What about you, JC?
Just cut his grass, Mr. Macey. Yes, Snack Bar. Well, a little birdie told me Zach Lloyd from Wide Barrier is no good, as we've already mentioned. I agree.
He'll probably ride this like God.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Absolute God. He'd probably tell me to go fuck myself when I see him. God love him. I like Zach. He's a great kid, and horses just run for. They really do travel for him.
Yeah.
And I like when he's on his. But he is young, and I really believe that wide gates are something he hasn't mastered yet. And luckily, they seem to ride for a very long time, these jocks. He's got a long time to work it out.
100%. Yeah, no, I've landed on Just Party. I don't know how I have, but I have. I don't think it's much of a horse, but I just think in a race where I expect at least a moderate tempo, I think it will be a good speed. I think he'll just park off him. Quick back up, I think, suitable. It's a bit of a slug grinding horse. Drops to 1,400 metres and the blinkers go on. So, I don't know, maybe he's just looking for him. I don't really like the race, to be completely honest. If Snack Bar had have drawn a bit softer, I think I'd be all over him. But I just can't really find anything else in this race that I'm really keen on. I think Just Party, obviously that Swift Falcon form has to be respected, and hopefully the blinkers can make him a new man.
You watch Snack Bar's is going to come out and win like God in this race.
Pull out 3 wide.
I'll just get in a 3 wide running line. He'll find a spot. They'll just split.
It'll be all cozy.
I'll tell you the thing when you're backing, I find with wide gates as well, if it's a horse that needs to settle somewhere midfield, you need a race with pace. Because when the race with pace, they stretch out, they find room. It's when you've got a middling tempo and it's not 100%, they seem to get caught wide. You both seem to think there's maybe enough pace in this race, so there's a chance he can probably get in. His trial between runs was extremely good, so there's no knock from that. And the gate being a bit of a concern. I do agree with more territories. I like the application of blinkers. I like the softer draw. I love the way that she hit the line last start. And I think finds an easier race here, definitely. She's definitely coming back in grade. When you look at the quality animal around her. I'm probably looking at those two. I'm looking at more territories and snack bar, but with very, very little confidence. Are we happy with this? Can we move on?
Go for it, mate.
All right, excellent. Let's we move into the Hill Stakes race 7 over 1900.
Yeah, it's interesting what they'll do here with the tempo. I don't have too fast of a tempo. I thought Royal Patronage was a bit dour last week. I remember tipping it in the Epsom. Showed good speed from the wide draw, but just kind of plugged in the straight. That could mean a few things, but I think it means that the horse is looking for further already. So stepping up in distance, Tim Clark for the Gay Waterhouse stable. They'll be our natural leader, I think. Redstone can show some good speed. Pericles from a low draw likes to roll forward. So I think with Royal Patronage finding control, I think there'll be a few bustling to sort of find the running line, second 2 pairs back, 3 pairs back. And then Kovalika, it'll be interesting what they do with the good draw. Gate 2, do they press up? They had Gate 1 last week, was still ridden midfield. So it makes for an interesting...
I think up in trip you'll sit closer. Waller does like using those gates. I think the fence probably wasn't the place to be last week. I think it will be a different story here, as we've said. Up in trip, I still think he is quite dour now. He hasn't got that really electrifying turn of foot. I thought the Royal Patronage run was very gutsy.
Yeah. There was a headwind that day, like off the back straight of Randwick, I thought. No leader won on the day. I thought Facing the Breeze was a tough effort. It was the best of the on paces in the Epsom. Yeah,
I thought it was a really gutsy run. It's like for a few strides, you thought, "Fuck, is he going to just guts this out?" The win of J.O. Wolf was enormous. Chad Schofield, what a ride!
Greatest ride of all time.
It was absolutely.
It was a great ride, and I think obviously training performance as we spoke about before we jumped on. Joe Pride, obviously one of the better thinkers in Sydney, I'll call him that. He set that horse up perfectly, 2,000 back to 1,600 in a really fastly run race. Yeah, it's exactly what you want, and the way the track played, like that horse was very well supported also for a Group 1 handicap race. I think it was about $5. Well, on the day it might have been about $6 into about $4 across the tote. So it was a very big go. So nice horse.
Nice horse. Where are you going here?
I've landed on the 6 here, Golden Path. I just like how tractable this horse is. He can be ridden to sit just off the speed. He finished 3rd at his last start behind the horse we just mentioned, Chow Wolf, and Elias, who was also another big go down in Melbourne in that Group 1 Turnbull. I thought his run down there in Melbourne was brilliant. He obviously had to sit outside Duke de Sessa and really, I guess, earn his stripes, and he just got overtaken late by Buckaroo and Via Sistina. So I thought that is the right form for this race. I guess the form's everywhere. You could obviously, the Epsom could be the right form line as well, but he's just a horse that's continuing to progress. He's won his last 3 starts prior to that 3rd, and I just think he's the map horse here. He's got to sit probably between 4th and 6th and get first crack at him.
Love it. Yeah. You want to go, Mace?
No, you go.
I did my non-conformist here at an each way quote. This horse has form around Buckaroo from its last start, which then stood up down in Melbourne. Ties in with horses such as Pericles, who's only $4 in this race. Really like Graham Begg. I like that he's taken it back down to Melbourne, given it a quiet jump out. It ran 2nd. I like that tick over after a long spell, because you see these horses resume 350, 360 days. They're dynamic, fresh, but then they're extremely flat second up because of that break. But I like that he's given it that trial between runs, brought it back up to Sydney, gets a nice map from Gate 5, and I think on this horse's best form, could have been a few years ago, but if he can recapture some of that, I think this horse can stand up at sort of $12 and $3 each way.
Love that. Not a race I'll be betting in, and especially early, but like all your points there. I was pretty impressed with Royal Patronage. I thought it was gutsy, And just Gay Waterhouse on the back up, they probably would have galloped it 3 times during the week just to make sure it's rock hard fit. Just for good measure.
It wasn't rock hard fit off the run last week?
No. Well, just 2 more. It's
I
probably,
agree with you.
it's probably
I'm glad I got 3 pieces of work this week.
Yeah, it's probably working right now, poor thing. She has them tough as nails. I don't think I could do the training at that camp, put it that way. But I think it's going to be pretty hard to beat. I just think as well, Kovalika might show something. I've just got a little bit of a feeling. I didn't mind its run. It was certainly a pass mark. And I think the up and trip will definitely suit him. Not a race I'll be playing in. Now we move to race 8, which is not loading on my screen, but take it away, Tom.
Right. The Alan Brown Stakes. Big field, very fast tempo here. Speaking on Thursday, that depends on scratchings and whatnot on Saturday. But fast tempo here. I've got Noah Star pushing up to lead from 1 second. Here to shock will roll forward. I think I'm in the same boat as you here, Mace, when the speed map wants to load. But no, big tempo here. Favourite Gringotts will want to settle off midfield with Tommy Berry aboard. Then you've got horses like Jimmy Star will be ridden cold. Note it's also dual accepted down in Melbourne.
It will likely run Melbourne, won't it, Jimmy Star? No.
Not sure.
We'll find out come Friday afternoon, Mace.
Thanks. Pearson, $126. They only know one way, and that's lead in this race. Lindemann will roll forward. Macarena from the Hawk stable will also be positive. So massive field. There are plenty of emergencies, so that'll come out. But I still think with the horses that are within the field already, a fast tempo will be predicted here.
It certainly looks like a race. We could pay.
You can see the internet just kicked in because old mate Tommy's speech just went more faster, more
Pretty
confident.
Much. Nailed it. As soon as the map pops up,
100%. Then he just smashed it out.
But I got no opinion. I'll go with one of you boys first here. If he's,
I'm going to jump straight in. I'm just going to cut your grass once again.
Love it.
Waterford, for me, he's the horse here. I think he goes best fresh. He won first up over the 1,500 metres at Rosehill last preparation. Then he just found some wet tracks and got a long way back and running, so I'm happy to put a pen through most of those runs. He's been kept fresh here. He's had the 2 trials beneath the 1,000 metres, and in a race where you can go many ways, I think he's probably the horse, given he can get a good ride, he should be running on strongly.
Love it.
Yeah, I'm happy with that. I've got him second pick. I'm going with Gringotts. I'm going with the horse that's got the run under the belt. Absolutely loved the run. Got held up. Finally gets out and really moves through the line. I was just so impressed with its run in the Bill Ritchie. He's still relatively lightly raced, especially compared to a fair few of these. I just think barrier 7 gets to sit around midfield. Has won at the track. And I think Tommy Berry suits these styles of horses. He's good at riding him with cover. Yeah. Produce him. I think he's starting to ride quite well in these sort of races. Again, starting to show a bit of form himself. I concede all the points for Waterford. And
well, hopefully Waterford's not listening to you because the only place it's acceptable to come seconds in bed. So hopefully you can knock one over it and get a gold medal and walk away a winner.
That's good.
Oh, that is very good. He's on fire today. We might get you back next week. See what his form's like. Yeah. And you, Tommy?
Yeah, I had no opinion. I mean, JC's probably sold me a bet into Waterford now.
Yeah.
See how the track's playing, see what the field looks like on Saturday morning. But yeah, for all the points JC conceded, the trial was good. I liked it through the post in its most recent trial. Just sort of snuck up underneath horses and was in front of them after the 100 metres after the post. It is a fresh horse. It is a Rosehill horse. I think they're huge ticks. And I think the speed on will be suitable over the 1400. So
yeah, definitely. He's definitely a Waller horse that likes racing best. He's doing his best work first up.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's a lot of people that are against that sort of thing with Waller, but I actually don't mind it, especially this time of year. He's good at producing those horses.
For sure.
All right, let's move on for our last race. It will be previewing what's it called now, this?
The Navision?
The Navision, there it is.
I'm going to roll straight off your previous point in saying Waller's a fresh horse. I think OLENTIA is the best bet of the day. But we'll roll into the map first.
Get to the map first.
Yeah, I got too excited there, didn't I?
He's just talking about all these bed quotes and you just exploded everywhere.
Come back to it. But Coco Jamboo, leader. I don't see too much speed on paper. I think that suits OLENTIA. More ticks.
Yeah.
it'll sit up close from gate 3. I think they won't want to let the race get away. They'll let Coco Jamboo lead, but I think they'll just sit off him. Don't see too much speed. Yeah, I mean, for all the points, everyone saw that it was a moral beat last campaign. Fresh, held up, out late, smashed the line, and then just kind of struck unsuitable races, unsuitable track conditions. The trials have been good. Fresh is best for this horse. I've already got some of the price. I think they opened 380, took that away.
He's a diver.
Yeah, straight in, 260 now, all over it. I think it's the best bet of the day at Rosehill. What about you, boys?
Yeah, I agree with you. I've got OLENTIA on top. I thought she's one of my 3 best bets, so there's a bit of a spoiler alert. I just think she's different gravy. Obviously, the only time she lost that race where Tommy mentioned, that was her only loss first up. She's actually won 3 over 4 races first up, and I think Waller's obviously done right by her, keeping her on the fresh side. Only the 1 trial over the 818 at Warwick Farm, and I think she can just park off the speed and be too good for these. Different gravy for me, OLENTIA.
Yeah. I think I'm going to go the 2-horse play here. I'll definitely have something on her around the $3 mark. The horse I want to mention is Coco Jamboo. Absolutely loved its trial. Has the trial to Swift Falcon, which has obviously been franked. The trial form's been franked. She will roll forward, drawn well. Won first up last time here, which was in a pretty decent, like against Short Shorts in the Shadows of Love. That was a pretty decent race for a race like this. I have a feeling Snowden's got a few of these horses going well first up. I don't know if they're really training on, but I reckon this horse could be flying. And as you know, I've definitely got a fetish for these overseas horses early in their career.
Horses.
Yeah, international horses. Huge fan. She was actually one that got under the guard. I missed her, and when she lobbed at 40s, and I went,
Oh.
yeah.
You're about to join me on the tab jumbotron.
The chair just went back and just laid on the floor. Oh, 40s. Yeah, it was a little bit hard to deal with. But like even her run to CS McGurr and the Osbred Flirt, like only beaten 2 lengths there. I think that's really good form for a race like this. I'm happy to pay her with OLENTIA, or you can back her each way. But I think probably the 2-bet play is the way to go.
Love it.
Let's take off with your best bets.
Best bets, I got 3 this weekend, all at Rosehill. We'll start with Rosehill, race 6, number 12, More Territories. Third up, this preparation for the John O'Shea stable. Blinkers go on. I like the draw. I like the form it comes out of around Autumn Glow. She could have won the Flight Stakes had she raced last week. I think that form will stand up, and I think this horse will be winning. $6.50, back it all day, each way. Then we'll go to Rosehill, race 7, number 5, Nonconformist. I like this horse. Has Buckaroo form, which has been franked down in Melbourne. Has a jump out since its first up run. Graham brings it back up to Sydney, takes it up to the 1900, which is more suitable. I like the map, and I think this horse can run well at an each-way quote. And then we'll finish the day. Rosehill, race 9, number 3, OLENTIA. Fresh is best for this horse. Rosehill is suitable. I think it'll get a nice map, and it will be winning. JC.
Do I have to be as convincing as him? Yeah.
Yes.
So I'm about to run off set and back myself.
Wow. There's a tab around the corner.
Yeah, 100%. All right, I'm going to kick off race 5, number 1, Coleman. I think he just brings the best forms to this race. He goes really well at Rosehill, runs second in the slipper at start of the Autumn Carnival, and think he'll just be the horse that gets the best running race and come over the top late of him. Race 9, number 3, OLENTIA. All the things that Tom just ushered. I think she's fresh is best. She's won 3 over 4 starts. First up, the only time she lost was a luckless second to Samana, who goes really good. And race 10, number 10, Ferrari. Melbourne mare only had herself to blame last start, missed the start, and I thought her run was absolutely enormous. She came from off the speed, which is something we haven't seen her do. She gets Zach Lloyd on, barrier 1, will park just off the speedy Passagiata, hopefully just peel off around the 300-metre mark and put them away.
Nice. Bit of confidence from the boys. I love this. I've got absolutely no confidence this week.
And then he goes 3 from 3.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I don't think I'll be doing
show
that
us
this
up,
week.
Mace.
And I have gone against you in 2 of them. So I'm going to kick off with Rosehill, race 5, number 2, Switzerland. Was at one stage got into, I think, slipper favouritism at one stage. And was a little bit disappointing in the last prep. I want to forgive the run first up, and the trial between runs has been exceptional. I think if they go hard, he could be the one closing off. I then go to race 8, number 10, Gringotts. Found a lot of trouble early in the straight. Got out when it was all too late and finished off to run second. It was a top run. And race 9, number 4, I'm going with Coco Jamboo and on the each-way basis. Can roll forward. Troll's been absolutely enormous. I think there's one danger, and that's OLENTIA, so you can save if you want to play it that way. But I'm going with the Coco Jamboo. All right,
Sounds
fellas.
like a drink.
It does, doesn't it? Yeah.
You'd be having plenty of them shit lobs.
And I'm actually sober, 14 weeks sober.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
I'm about 14 hours sober.
Oh, well, there we go. Same but different.
Achievement.
What is there any horses that we're looking forward to into the spring at the moment?
I think broadsiding for me, personally. I just want to see, is he as good as Animo? Let's see. We'll find out. Is he better? Who knows?
Do you reckon? Wow.
I didn't say that. I said who knows.
Yeah,
I don't know who is.
What did we make of the 2-year-olds last week?
Okay. I thought they were okay. The earlier season crop 2-year-olds don't really stand up come slipper time.
Sometimes.
Yeah. You get the occasional one, but it's interesting. Half of them will be at Orange Maidens and half of them will be in group races in Sydney for the next sort of 2 months.
Goes to show you can definitely find value if you can work out which ones are going to Orange and which ones are actual group horses.
That's your job.
Yeah, that is my job.
I thought Tupacara was good. Tupacara, or what his name was.
The Nisham horse.
The Nisham filly that was up the fence late. She might be a horse that might need a mile in time. Maybe a flight stakes winner in 12 months' time.
Yeah, we'll
just clip that. Just save that. You throw enough darts, one of them will eventually hit.
Yeah.
How good's throwing a big dart? I love it. That's unreal. And have we got, for any of the big races, have we labelled any horses yet?
No, I was really impressed with the way Land Legend won. I see Zach Purden's booked going down for the Cups. I think it might be Waller's Melbourne Cup horse. The horse just has huge stamina. They went quick in that Metrop on the weekend and it was still racing away through the line. They put a massive gap to third. And I said last week its 2,600 metre win was just as good, taking off sort of 800 metres out.
Well, she was one of the horses we mentioned.
Yeah. So, no, I'm keen to see that in the Cups, but I don't know anything about the International, so I couldn't even tell you.
And what about, is anyone keen on the Everest market yet?
No.
Okay, on the 2025 flight stakes market.
Yeah.
Tupacara.
Tab will put it out tomorrow.
I thought, you know what? I was really impressed with Grown Empire's second in the Moya Stakes. Was it the Moya Stakes? Whatever it was.
Manikato, yeah.
Manikato, close enough. Started with an M. Group 1 in Melbourne. I was just really impressed with it. Just was able to, I guess, sit on a really hot tempo, sprint, and just got pipped late by a horse that was like 3-4 back the rails and had the
How the fuck did it win? The big Zaz. Zaz was just, if you paused at the 100, you say at the second horse, the winner gets beat a length.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not win. Like, you wouldn't have even said it was in a length of the winner.
At the 100, I was thinking, how bloody good is Grown Empire? Because I was able to sprint off that tempo and it was all gangly. Didn't know what it was doing out there. And I was thinking, geez, this horse could be anything. Yeah. I'm not as good as him. There's plenty of horses, especially those horses you mentioned, those Orange Maidens. I don't think I'd even beat them time, to be honest. But I think Grown Empire for the Everest, I've just obviously got to go through the fields and the barriers and whatnot, but he just has something about him, that horse.
Yeah. I didn't mind Sunshine in Paris. I like Fresh is best for the horse. The trial on Monday was good. And I just love how it flattened out at Rosehill off a hot tempo and just hit the line really strongly. I think that's sort of the profile you need for an Everest, to sit off a hot tempo, sprint really quickly. And I just loved her action. Horse is racing well. Was favourite for an Everest last year until a mishap. So hopefully they get it right this year and the horse can run well for the Nisham stable. But I think it's missed at sort of $12 currently.
All right. Well, that's it for this week's Proper Punters, and we may see you back. We'll just see. All right, good luck and happy punting.
What are you prepared to lose today? Set a deposit limit. For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.